Hey everybody, it's Keegan here. I'm back with another video for you guys, and today I'm bringing you guys another edition of Keegan's movie reviews once again. And today we're going to be talking about 3 movies this time. So anyways, let's get right into it. So the first film we're going to be talking about is the 1994 action fantasy drama film The Crow, which was directed by Alex Proyas and was based on some comic books from the late 80s. And this film was originally released on May 13th, 1994. Now, this one I have seen before a few years ago, but I watched it again on Friday at my favorite theater because it was doing a screening of the movie. So I decided to go ahead and check it out. And I've never read the comic books that this movie was based on, but I have seen this movie before. And I really enjoy this one. This movie is great, and I really enjoyed it, seeing it for a second time and on the big screen. Now, this movie is best known for a tragedy that occurred on set of the film, but if you've heard of this movie, then you probably know what it is. But if you don't know, well, we'll get to that in a little bit. But let's talk about the plot of the film, and then we'll get into my thoughts on it. So let's take a dive. Now, this film follows a guy named Eric Draven, played by Brandon Lee. Now, Eric is a rock star for a band, and one night, on the night before he was supposed to marry his fiance, Eric and his fiance are murdered by a group of thugs. And then 1 year later, on the anniversary of their deaths, Eric is resurrected by a crow who takes revenge and seeks out to take revenge on on the thugs who killed him and his fiance, and take down the criminal underground of the city. And without giving away too much, that's basically the story of the film in a nutshell. I really enjoyed The Crow. It's a really well-made film. I really like the style, atmosphere, and the tone of the film. I really enjoyed that, and the costume designs look really good. It's dark, it's gritty, and Brandon Lee did a great job in the film. And I really like all the action sequences in this film, too. Not to mention, the soundtrack in this movie is killer, and is still killer 30 years later. But it's really sad what happened to Brandon Lee on set of the film. Now, if you've heard of this movie, then you probably already know what happened. But for those who don't know, I'll explain. Now, this all happened during production of the movie. It involved one of the prop guns that was used during one of the scenes in the film. And it was a 44 Magnum. It was a prop that was inspected like a few days before this one scene in the film that was filmed. And it was supposed to shoot blanks, but it turned out one of the bullets that was one of the prop bullets that was used in the gun was faulty, and it shot. When the gun discharged, it hit Brandon Lee in the abdomen like he was shot with a real gun, and when he was rushed to the hospital, but unfortunately he passed away from his injuries, but before he even got to the hospital, and he was only 28 years old when he died. Yeah, it's really sad what happened to Brandon Lee. And this all happened not long before they finished filming the movie. So after Brandon Lee passed away, there were a couple scenes that had to be shot using a body double who looked almost identical to Brandon Lee at certain scenes. But besides the tragedy that occurred with this movie, it's a really, really good film. It is really sad what happened to Brandon Lee, though. He was only 28 years old when he died, and this was also his final film. But yeah, like, it's really sad. And another thing is, for those who don't know, Brandon Lee was the son of Bruce Lee, which is interesting. And it's tragic what happened to him on this movie. But all in all, I really enjoyed The Crow, and I highly recommend it. And I know there are 3 other sequels to this movie, but I hear not one of them is supposed to be any good. And there was even a TV show called The Crow Stairway to Heaven. Never seen it, but maybe I'll check it out one day. And there is a remake that's coming out next month, which looks absolutely horrendous, but I'll probably still go see it anyways, just to see if it's that shitty, but it's probably going to be shitty anyways. But anyways, if you haven't seen The Crow, I recommend it. It's a fun movie, and excuse me, it's a great film. And rest in peace, Brandon Lee. Anyways, I'm giving The Crow an 8 out of 10. Now, the next two movies are Edgar Wright movies, and both of them I watched in theaters last night as a double feature. And interestingly, my first time ever doing a double feature in theaters. Interestingly. Now, one of them I've seen before, and the other I watched for the first time. So, the first one is a classic movie, and I've seen this one before 3 times now. And that is the 2004 horror comedy film Shaun of the Dead, which, as mentioned before, was directed by Edgar Wright and was first released in the UK on April 9th, 2004, and then was later released in North America in September. Now, this movie I've seen 3 times, and it's a great comedy film, and this was also the first film in the Cornetto trilogy, which consists of Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, which we'll be talking about later, and The World's End, which I have yet to watch, but I'll probably cover that in another video someday. But, yeah, and this was also the debut film from Edgar Wright as well, who also directed Baby Driver, Last Night in Soho, which I talked about a few years ago, and a couple of other movies. So, yeah, let's take a dive into Shaun of the Dead. Now, this movie follows a guy named Shaun, played by Simon Pegg, and Shaun is your average dude living in London who has multiple problems going on in his life. He's 29, he has no ambition in life, he works at a electronics center, and everyone in his employees basically just treat him like shit. And his longtime girlfriend dumps him because she's just fed up with all the crap, like just going to the same pub every day. And his best friend, Ed, played by Nick Frost, is lazy and just kind of puts him down, despite being his best friend and his flatmates. And, well, all in all, he's just having a lot of problems. But then it gets bad to worse when a zombie apocalypse hits London, and he's trying to survive while trying to rescue his mother and girlfriend, and along the way trying to prove that he's useful to his girlfriend and tries to get her back. And without giving away too much, that's basically the story of the film in a nutshell. As I mentioned before, this movie is a classic. It's hilarious, it's entertaining, and Simon Pegg and Nick Frost are both great in the film. And for Edgar Wright's first film, it was really well made, I must say. And yeah, it's a classic movie. I remember the first time I watched it, it was on TV a really long time ago, but I don't exactly remember how old I was. I'd say I was probably 11 or 12 when I first watched it, but I can't remember. Like I said, it was a long time ago. But I remember really enjoying it. And seeing it in theaters was a really good experience. There was a lot of people there. It was hilarious. And yeah, it was just a good time. And I think this movie still holds up 20 years later. And yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to say about it. Probably my favorite scene in the movie is when they were fighting off the zombies in the backyard, and they start throwing vinyl records and shit at the zombies before they grab the shovel and cricket stick and just kill them. It's really funny. And yeah, Edgar Wright did a great job directing this. And yeah, he would go on to make some other great comedies and just in general great movies like Scott Pilgrim vs. the World and a couple of other ones. But I don't really have anything else to add. I really enjoyed Shaun of the Dead, especially on a third time watch. And yeah, still a great movie all these years later. And I'm giving Shaun of the Dead an 8 out of 10. Now, after I saw Shaun of the Dead, I saw Hot Fuzz, which was the second movie in the Cornetto trilogy. And again, this one was directed by Edgar Wright. And it also stars Simon Pegg and Nick Frost once again. And this film was originally released on April 20th, 2007. And this one I watched for the first time last night, and I really, really enjoyed it. And to be honest, I actually enjoyed this one more than Shaun of the Dead, but Shaun of the Dead's still a great movie, though. And yeah, let's just get into the story of it, and then we'll get into my thoughts on it. So this film follows a cop named Nicholas Angel, played by Simon Pegg, who is so good at his job that he had to be reassigned to a small town called Sanford because he, quote, makes everyone else in the team look bad. And it seems like Sanford is a crime-free town, and he partners up with his new partner named Danny, played by Nick Frost. And it all seems nice and quiet in this crime-free town, but then a series of accidents starts popping up when more people are being killed. But Angel's not buying that these accidents are actually accidents and tries to find out who is murdering all these people. And without giving away too much, that's basically the story of the film in a nutshell. I really enjoyed Hot Fuzz. This one was a lot of fun. It was really funny. It was really entertaining. And like I mentioned before, I honestly enjoyed this one a lot more than Shaun of the Dead. But again, Shaun of the Dead is still a great movie, though. But yeah, I don't know. This one was just a lot of fun. It was really funny. And Simon Pegg and Nick Frost were hilarious in the movie. And I really liked the last half of the movie where it was all action-packed. It's like kind of a callback to some action films of the 80s and 90s, kind of. But yeah, this one was a lot of fun. And the plot twist was kind of funny, too. But yeah, I really enjoyed Hot Fuzz. It was well written, it was funny, and it was really entertaining. And wow, I just can't believe it took me so long to finally watch it. But finally did. I finally crossed it off the watch list. But, yeah, this was a lot of fun. As I mentioned before, there's another movie in the trilogy called The World's End, which came out in 2013. However, as of this video, I haven't seen it yet, but I will definitely give that one a watch one day. Now, even though these movies are part of a trilogy, they are not really connected together. Well, at least from what I know, because this movie doesn't have the same characters from Shaun of the Dead. Although it does have the two lead actors from those two movies. I mean, from Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, and they're also in The World's End. But yeah, all in all, I had a lot of fun with this one, and it's definitely one of my favorites from Edgar Wright that I've seen. But if you like Shaun of the Dead, you'll like this one. It's not a horror movie or anything, but it's more of an action comedy. But this one was a lot of fun to watch, especially seeing it for the first time in theaters. But yeah, it was a fun movie. I really enjoyed this one. Anyways, I'm giving Hot Fuzz an 8.6 out of 10. Alright guys, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like, comment below, subscribe for more videos like this, and turn on notifications, and share the video with your friends. And what movie do you guys think is better, Shaun of the Dead or Hot Fuzz? Let me know in the comment section below. And also, what do you guys think of The Crow? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways guys, until next time, this is Keagan Shepherd signing off. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. And yeah, take care everybody. Peace out. Bye-bye.